let's talk about the Tinubu administration at 2.
I don't know.
There was an endorsement.
Oh yeah, all over the place.
From his party.
All over the place.
Yes, and then this gale of defections.
Yeah, sure.
And he says, look, don't worry. It's not. We're not turning into a one-party state. It's just one party making a difference.
Making a difference.
Yes.
The honorable minister was here, and a globally recognized and respected individual from the Mochaco. I've read about him, but I'm sure he's living in a bubble. This is a second year scorecard, so he's really doing a spirited defense of his government and his president. The question you ask yourself and I ask myself is, 2 years ago, are you better off today than you were 2 years ago? That's a practical question. Nothing to do with the tunnel or the light escaping from the tunnel or the light shining bright. It's 2 years ago and today. Are you better off then or now? 90% of most Nigerians, they said the fat cats around the regime will tell you they are worse off today. That regime scorecard, I've said it on a number of occasions, but there'll be more opportunities in future to dwell on that. But when you talk about endorsement is not by the people. It's by the political class.
Yeah, it's by his party.
Yes, and they have every reason to endorse him because they have everything at stake. This next election will be a referendum, not on Muhammad Buhari.
Will it?
Not on Muhammad Buhari's disastrous presidency, but on his own presidency. Because if you have 4 years scorecard now to say, you elected me 4 years back, I'm sure you're happy now. And
who are the people that are going to stand against him?
Yeah, it's going to happen
for this referendum.
It is.
Who is the opposition that's going to stand against him in 2027?
Yes, I can tell you the opposition. It's going to happen. We have virtually 2 years or slightly less for the election. The regime panicked. That's why it went into election mode 2 years ahead of time. I predicted here in this studio it will govern for less than 2 years, and it has happened. So the defections, the endorsement, the re-endorsement, the recalibrations will continue in perpetuity until the election season is upon us. Those who stand against him are massive, and many. If you see the fragmentation in the political system and the political order, it will be reconstituted somewhere down the line. PDP, of course, is having a valiant fight for its life. Nobody thought PDP was going to ever hold a National Executive Committee meeting. That held successfully with a robust communicator. People never expected to come from the party. So if that takes place, the party convention, take away the shackles of those whistlings within the party ranks and rebrands it as a formidable opposition force. And the rest of other people in Labour Party, with PWB, in NNPP, one or so, in Aerofy and the rest of them, these are incredibly formidable forces. What together they will coalesce.
In every government that has come, people would always complain about one thing or the other.
The report, yes.
But I want to be able to get your thoughts on the legacy of the past 2 years of the Tinubu administration.
The legacy of the past 2 years is very simple. The rise of what I call hybrid regime, that's authoritarian in nature, very liberal in several respects. 2, a broken economic system that is very incoherent, a political order that has almost fragmented. And for me, a legacy, not of hope, but of hopelessness. That means the report card of this government in 2027 will reflect a regime that has failed to live up to expectation and that will be rightfully booted out of office by the rest of the country.
You have to admit it, that the APC and Bola Tinubu went into panic mode in 2025. That's why we're in election period right now. Election is 2027, but if you see the campaigns going on around Nigeria, in Abuja especially, you will realize that they're in panic mode. All these, pressure and coercion of forcing people to join the APC, using politicians to join the APC and coercing them. This pressure they are mounting on other politicians or from other political parties to be part of the APC, to give them ringing and resounding, glowing report of the first 2 years of Bola Tinubu administration, you realize it's just all but fallacy. It's a lie. The good thing is this, right? It is not Nigerians that are sort of, endorsing Bola Tinubu. More than 90% of Nigerians know that this government has failed. The government has failed in everything. And this is something that a lot of us talked about in 2023, saying that this Bola Tinubu's government is incapable of moving Nigeria in the right direction. And it is true. Bola Tinubu's government is incapable of moving Nigeria in the right direction. So they're in panic mode and forcing. You see this capture of River State, for example, was just a power play to show to other states what could happen to them. A place where there was no chaos, they formed chaos and they passed a state of emergency. And you can see one has to be very, very stupid to have lost their mind and be a sycophant, just like Renaud Mokri and the likes, who come on TV to give glory report of Bola Tinubu, because you know they're after their pocket, to say that this government is moving Nigeria in the right direction. Everything that you will use to measure success for government, this government has failed. Security, they failed. Food security, they failed. Electricity, they failed. Name it, they failed. The cost exchange rate is astronomical. Fuel prices. So the way they met things from the beginning and where we are right now, in spite of the stability they're talking about, you realize this is foolish. You realize that. So one must lose their mind to say you want to support the APC and come on TV to say, come and defend, give a glowing report. You have to have lost your mind. Just like to be a Wike, where you know that it's self-serving. All Wike does on TV, for example, and talk about how glowing Bola Tinubu's report has been, is because you know that it needs to be there. It needs power to stay relevant. So he will do anything possible, even if he has to sleep on Bola Tinubu's shoes to remain in power. Wike will do that. But the good thing is this, that it is not Nigerians that are endorsing Bola Tinubu. So, and I believe a lot of Nigerians, even more than 90% of Nigerians are there thinking, what are these politicians doing? And the onus is on us to actually make sure we continue to sensitize other Nigerians to make sure that they're ready for 2027. This government, this Bola, I mean, when we talk about failure, we have to look at it. Look at Buhari. You knew Buhari was a catastrophic failure. I remember talking to a few of my friends and I told them about Buhari, and I said then in 2015, we have better people that could be our president rather than Buhari. And then that man ruled for 8 years. It would take us another 20-something years to undo the damage of Buhari. Now imagine that, putting another 8 years of Bola Tinubu on top of the 8 years of Buhari. How much damage these guys would have done to our economy. If you want to take Bola Tinubu's flagship program, the Lagos state to Calabar coastal road, coursing through 7 other states, right? A 9-state road, 700 kilometers in total. Take that flagship program, for example. They're celebrating 30 kilometers out of a possible 700 kilometers. Even if you give Bola Tinubu 8 years to do the job, it will only be able to make a fraction, 240 kilometers out of a possible 700 kilometers. That's his flagship program. The government is borrowing money for projects that we cannot see, projects that have no relevance. They're saying they're paying off debt, but the one hand they're saying they're paying off debt, and the other one they're actually borrowing more. Look at our foreign direct investment. Look at how many businesses have closed in Nigeria. Look again at how many people are jobless. Nigerians have now become, Nigeria has become the capital city of the world of poverty. This government, this APC government, has dumped more Nigerians into multidimensional poverty than we've ever seen. But yet, we have politicians endorsing the same government. This is a catastrophic government, you have to admit. I know people who have come out to support the APC, on the state level. And I'm wondering, what did they really give you guys to eat? So I'm saying this, and just like this gentleman on the screen says, if you give him a 4-year report card, it will still be failure. And I think Nigerians are all waiting patiently to get rid of this government. See, this suffering is not just hidden only certain people, it's every single person. Even the people they will use to rig election next time. Let me give you an idea of why this defection is actually happening. This defection is happening because our politicians are greedy, number one. Number two, they're corrupt. Number three, they're self-serving because they realize that this APC government will rig them out and they cannot take any chances. And the governor of Akwa Ibom State said it. He doesn't want to be rigged out. Delta State, they're talking about getting close to power. Plateau State will be defecting soon. Governor Muftwang will be defecting soon. They realize what this government is capable of doing. And they realize that it will take an extraordinary movement for this government not to rig election in 2027 because they know Nigerians don't want this government. The most unpopular government and president we've ever had in Nigeria is Bola Tinubu. Record shows that. The most disliked president we've ever had in our country is Bola Tinubu. Record shows that. So what do we do as Nigerians? We have to make sure we keep sensitizing our people, because what we have right now is not a government. They're not thinking through policies, they're just enacting policies. They're not thinking through policies. The first day one policy that he started with the subsidies gone was not done out of proper thorough thoughtfulness and planning process in place. He himself admitted to say that he just thought about it. He said he has to go, not a proper plan to cushion the effect of it. And after that, he floated the currency. You just imagine that. And it has been chaotic from that moment till now. And I'm saying this from first-hand experience because I do a lot of projects. So I know for certain that this is what is happening. The cost of goods and commodities actually skyrocketed. So what we need to do as Nigerians is continue to sensitize others, just so that come 2027, we get rid of this government. So put in the comment section your thought. Let us know what you think. And also, if you're meeting this content for the first time, please like, share, and subscribe. If you've been following us and not subscribed, please do so. I will catch you up in the next video. Bye-bye for now.